Welcome to our deep dive into the Kolbrin, this text that's shrouded in mystery and claims to hold ancient wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
It's said to be a collection of manuscripts, some possibly rescued from Glastonbury Abbey, that offer spiritual truths applicable to modern life, ready to explore some of these fascinating stories and teachings.
Absolutely. The Kolbrin is so intriguing because it's not presented as like a historical record,
Right.
but as a guide for spiritual living. It's like peering into a window of ancient beliefs and seeing how they might still resonate with us today.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The Kolbrin's creation story is unlike many others.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't start with a void, but with a being called heaven men existing before the earth as we know it. What's your take on that?
Well, it's a fascinating departure from the traditional, nothingness at the beginning, isn't it? The Kolbrin describes heavenmen encountering this ape tribe, the Salak, and ultimately merging with them to experience the physical world.
Wow.
It's almost like a merging of the spiritual and physical realms right from the start.
And then we have the creation of man described as an offering from the earth to her creator.
Right.
This is where God enters the picture, breathing life and a soul into man.
Yes, and this act really sets the stage for the Kolbrin's core theme. Man's responsibility to seek knowledge and to strive for spiritual growth.
Yeah.
He's granted dominion over Earth, but it's not a free pass. It's about unraveling the mysteries of existence.
It's like a built-in quest, isn't it? But as we know, things don't always go smoothly. The Kolbrin describes this cataclysmic event, the first destruction.
Right.
Sky boulders, monstrous beings, fire consuming everything. It's a stark reminder that destruction and renewal are intertwined.
Think about it. How would we rebuild and find meaning after such catastrophic loss? The Kolbrin seems to suggest that even facing utter destruction, that spark of the divine within humanity endures.
Right.
Perhaps it's a message about resilience and the power of the human spirit.
That leads us to the Garden of God and the fall of man. We encounter the children of God living in this protected paradise. It sounds idyllic until Adam and Luid commit this forbidden act, resulting in the separation of man and woman and the loss of immortality.
It's interesting how the Kolbrin uses this symbolic act to explain the separation of man and woman and the emergence of suffering disease and this barrier between the physical and spiritual realms.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if knowledge itself is inherently dangerous,
Yeah.
or if it's the misuse of knowledge that leads to suffering.
Yeah.
But the story continues, and we follow the lineage of Datum.
Yes. Figures like Astartha, the first moon maiden, emerge, and we delve into these mysteries of the sacred enclosure and the Gwynduiva,
Right.
this vessel holding a potion that supposedly kept sickness at bay.
Of course, there's always a twist.
Yeah.
Enter Maeva and her daughter Guinevere, this powerful sorceress.
Right.
Her story, especially her marriage to Herthu, orchestrated through prophetic visions, just adds another layer to this whole tapestry.
It's through these characters and their choices that we see humanity further dividing. The Kolbrin describes these distinct groups, the children of God adhering to this strict code of conduct, the children of men with a more relaxed approach, and then the men of Zumat.
Wow.
It's almost a reflection of the diverse paths humanity takes.
And this clash of values leads to conflict. The story of Maya, this woman desired by many, and the man who breaks the code of conduct for her, feels so relevant even today.
Yeah.
It's like this timeless struggle between individual desires and collective responsibility.
And the consequences are significant. The man is banished, forming a new kingdom with the children of men. This shift in power marks a departure from the ways of the children of God
Yeah.
and raises questions about the balance between personal desires and the greater good. What do you think?
It makes me wonder if this tension is just an inherent part of the human experience.
Yeah,
We see it play out throughout history and even in our own lives, wouldn't you say?
absolutely. And the Kolbrin doesn't offer easy answers. It presents these stories and allows us to grapple with these complex issues, just as the characters within the text do. But amidst the challenges, there's also this thread of hope. We meet Alama, who becomes the interpreter of God, helping people understand why men are leaving the children of God to join the children of men.
And this is where we hear God's voice more directly speaking through Aloma about this winnowing process, separating those drawn to the spiritual path from those swayed by earthly desires. This metaphor of separating grain from chaff.
Right.
It's powerful.
The Kolbrin seems to be saying that choosing the spiritual path isn't always easy.
Right.
Once we embrace earthly desires, it becomes difficult to return to spiritual growth. But it also emphasizes the possibility of redemption and that enduring spark of divinity within us.
What I find fascinating is that even with these warnings, the Kolbrin doesn't leave us hanging. It offers these teachings on the nature of God and the path to enlightenment. What stands out to you about these teachings?
Well, one key aspect is the emphasis on service responsibility and aligning ourselves with the great design. God is portrayed as a guiding force, not a punishing one. There's this beautiful quote where God says, "The spark of divinity in man generates inspiring dreams, which will ever lure him onward and upward."
That's such a hopeful message,
Yeah.
especially amidst all the talk of destruction and the fall from grace. It's as though the Kolbrin is acknowledging the challenges while reminding us of our potential to rise above them.
Exactly. And as we delve deeper, we'll see how these teachings are put into practice, particularly through figures like Hermanatar and Yosira. They embody these principles and guide others towards the light, offering us examples of what it means to live a spiritual life.
I'm eager to explore those stories further. But
Uh,
before we do, let's talk about the Great Flood, another cataclysmic event described in the Kolbrin. It's a familiar story, but with these unique details that offer a fresh perspective.
yeah.
What stood out to you?
Well, the Great Flood, a story echoed in so many cultures.
All right.
It holds a prominent place in the Colbert as well.
Yeah, for sure. What did you find most compelling about their version?
I think the image of that great ship being built to preserve life, it stuck with me. It's fascinating how those who built it faced mockery and doubt, yet they remained steadfast in their purpose.
Hmm.
Powerful testament to the importance of faith, even when surrounded by so much cynicism.
Yeah, I see that the story speaks to that unyielding belief
Right.
in a greater good, even when surrounded by cynicism.
Yeah.
And it seems like this theme of destruction and renewal, it's almost like a cyclical pattern woven throughout the Kolbrin.
Mm-hmm.
And from those ashes rises this captivating figure, Hermanatar the Lightbringer. He's depicted as wise and powerful, almost superhuman, learning to read at 3.
Oh, wow.
Slaying a king's right-hand man at 17 is quite a resume.
Yeah, Hermanatar's journey is full of these moral dilemmas and tests. He embarks on this incredible path of self-discovery guided by Yodel, and their relationship is fascinating.
Yeah.
Deep respect, but also tension as they wrestle with differing views on violence and spiritual purity.
And then there's the story of the harlot,
Right.
who tempts Hermanatar.
Oh, yeah.
Classic test leading to Yodel's temporary rejection of Hermanatar due to his perceived impurity.
Right.
It really makes you contemplate those strict spiritual disciplines and the potential consequences of straying from the path.
It does. But Yodel eventually returns, suggesting that forgiveness and redemption are possible, even after transgression. Their relationship is a reminder that spiritual mentorship isn't always easy, and even those on a spiritual path face these internal struggles.
Speaking of internal struggles, Hermanatar then faces this epic battle,
Uh-huh.
torn between loyalty and his aversion to violence.
Yeah.
His conflict is so palpable in the text.
Right.
What do you make of this?
This battle's pivotal for Hermanatar. It marks his rise to prominence, but he ultimately chooses to leave it all behind. Seeking the abode of Hammerit, this quest leads him to the abode of the dead, where he confronts these terrifying guardians and reunites with Yodel in the afterlife. This is a symbolic journey, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The Kolbrin seems to suggest that even death isn't the end, but a transition.
Right.
And learning continues beyond this physical life.
Yeah.
It challenges our assumptions about what the afterlife might hold.
And Hermanatar returns from this journey with a profound task, recording the sacred secrets and mysteries in 2 books.
Why?
One for the elect, the other for seekers of enlightenment.
Okay.
This emphasizes the importance of preserving and passing on spiritual knowledge for generations to come.
What I find interesting is that the Kolbrin weaves these personal journeys
Right.
into its grand narrative of these spiritual teachings in humanity's evolution.
Yeah.
Each story adds another layer of understanding.
Mhm.
It's not just a set of rules, but a tapestry of experiences.
Exactly. And just when you think things can't get more intriguing, we meet Yosira, the first king of Tehamet. He's this enlightening figure who challenges the existing religious structures, seeking to purify the land from wickedness. He confronts these false priests who manipulated people with distorted teachings.
Wow, that takes courage. It sounds like he was a true reformer, committed to establishing just laws and guiding people toward a deeper understanding of the divine. What can you tell us about his specific teachings? How do they differ from the prevalent beliefs of the time?
One key aspect is Yosira's emphasis on the one true God, challenging the idea of good and evil battling for our souls. He suggests this more unified view of the self, focusing on aligning with God's will through service responsibility and spiritual development.
So instead of this constant internal battle,
Right.
Yosira's teachings encourage us to look outward, focusing on our actions and their impact on the world.
Hmm.
It's a shift in perspective from inner turmoil to outward service.
Yes, and the Kolbrin beautifully illustrates this through excerpts from God's teachings to Yosira. It emphasizes that true worship lies in aligning with the great design and developing our souls,
hmm
not in rituals or seeking power.
It's a call to go beyond superficial practices
Right.
and to delve into the heart of spiritual understanding.
Huh.
This reminds me of something you said earlier about the cyclical nature of destruction and renewal.
Huh.
It seems like Yasir's teachings are an attempt to break that cycle, to establish a more just and harmonious way of life.
I think you're onto something there. Yosira's exile to the land of God is also fascinating. He receives further teachings about the divine, the illusory nature of the material world, and the potential within humanity. These teachings form the foundation of the laws he later brings to his people.
Those laws, that's where the Kolbrin gets really detailed.
Yes.
It outlines specific practices and forbidden acts, stressing purity, morality, and respect for life. It's not just about abstract concepts. It gets into the nitty-gritty of daily living.
What stands out to me is that these laws go beyond more guidelines. They address practical matters like cleanliness, food handling, and even the proper way to awaken someone from sleep,
Really?
to ensure their lord of the body returns peacefully.
Wait, the Lord of the Body. That sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
This refers to the kohar, which is essentially your spiritual double, a higher self that continues evolving even after your physical body dies. Yosira's teachings highlight the importance of nurturing this kohar through our actions in the material world.
So there's this link between our physical and spiritual selves, and our actions have consequences beyond this life influencing our afterlife as well.
Precisely. And the Kolbrin describes the soul's journey after death in vivid detail. It talks about the place of decision, region of lightness, and the reunion with loved ones. It even describes the judgment of the soul, emphasizing the contrasting fates of the righteous and the wicked.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah.
But it makes you think about the weight of our choices, doesn't it? Seems like the Kolbrin is urging us to live with intention, knowing that our actions have a ripple effect that extends far beyond our earthly existence.
Indeed. And as we move into the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore these concepts of the afterlife, the nature of God, and what it truly means to awaken to our spiritual potential.
I can't wait to see what other insights the Kolbrin has in store for us. So we've journeyed through these creation myths, cataclysmic events, profound teachings in the Kolbrin, and now we arrive at the Egyptian scrolls that make up the latter part of this text.
Right.
They seem to offer a more mystical and poetic perspective on the themes that we've already explored.
What's fascinating is how these scrolls, though from a different cultural context, echo and expand on the core teachings from those earlier texts. They emphasize this interconnectedness of heaven and earth.
Yeah.
The idea that understanding our earthly experience helps us grasp the divine, and that God isn't distant but a constant presence within us.
It's like these scrolls are adding another layer to the tapestry,
Right.
weaving in these new threads of understanding. There's this passage that says, God is unknown but not unknowable. He is unseen but not unseeable.
Oh, wow.
It encourages us to look beyond our physical senses and to tap into a deeper, more intuitive way of knowing.
It's a call to move beyond the limitations of our perceptions, wouldn't you say? These scrolls offer this rich collection of hymns, prayers, and teachings attributed to figures like Nefertari and Tantalip. They delve into the nature of God, the soul's journey, and living a life aligned with truth and righteousness.
One thing that really resonated with me was the emphasis on personal responsibility.
Yeah.
This idea of balancing the scales,
Yeah.
accounting for our deeds, and striving for spiritual growth. It's not about blind obedience to rules, but about cultivating inner purity and awareness. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's about aligning our actions with our highest aspirations. There's a powerful line that says, "Earth is the place of sowing, heaven is the place of reaping," suggesting that our actions here directly impact our spiritual evolution and our soul state in the afterlife.
So it's not just about seeking rewards or avoiding punishment, but about understanding the interconnectedness of our actions and their consequences in this life and beyond.
Exactly. The Kolbrin suggests that every choice we make contributes to the tapestry of our soul's journey. It's a continual process of growth and learning.
And speaking of the soul's journey, these scrolls offer this fascinating glimpse into the afterlife. We encounter these vivid descriptions of the Kohar, that spiritual double we discussed earlier,
Right.
reuniting with the departed soul and the various stages of purification and judgment.
Yes, and one passage that struck me describes the place of decision, where the soul faces this reckoning of its earthly deeds. It's a potent reminder that our choices have consequences extending far beyond our physical existence.
It's a sobering thought, but also a reminder of the power we hold to shape our destiny both in this life and beyond.
Absolutely. The Kolbrin doesn't shy away from those weighty matters. It challenges us to consider the depth and breadth of our existence, to recognize the profound implications of our choices.
And then there's this intriguing concept of the Soiltash, a figure who penetrates the mystic veil and returns to the material world with this heightened awareness.
Mm.
Could you elaborate on that a bit?
Well, the Sailtash embodies the possibility of transcending the boundaries between the physical and spiritual realms. Imagine gaining profound insights and then returning to share that wisdom with others. It's a testament to the transformative potential that lies within each of us.
So the Kolbrin suggests that we have the potential to become like the Soiltash, to pierce that veil of illusion and return to the world with a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. That's a powerful image.
It is, isn't it? The Kolbrin, while sometimes using this archaic language and imagery, offers a timeless message that resonates deeply. It's a call to awaken to our spiritual potential, to live with purpose and integrity, and to recognize the interconnectedness of all things.
So what does this all mean for us here and now?
I think the Kolbrin challenges us to look beyond the surface, to question our assumptions, and to embark on our own journeys of self-discovery. It encourages us to look within, to connect with that spark of divinity that resides within each of us.
It's about recognizing that we're not just physical beings, but spiritual beings having a human experience. It's about living with intention, making choices that align with our highest values, and striving to make a positive impact on the world around us. It's a journey of self-discovery, growth, and ultimately coming home to ourselves.
Beautifully put. And as we conclude our deep dive into the Kolbrin, perhaps the most important takeaway is this. The journey doesn't end here. It's an ongoing process of exploration, reflection, and connection.
And we encourage you to explore these texts further to see what resonates with you and to embark on your own deep dive into the mysteries of existence. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.